So what we do on this call is we do like a hot seat mastermind, essentially, where we sort of it's different than the round table. So I think that was the confusion, like um, last week a little bit because it felt so similar. It is different. And so essentially one person is going to ask the group for help with something, and then we try to help them. And yeah, basically like that. And so first we'll start with the meditation. The meditation gets us onto the same page and it helps us to all have the same common intention. And this is what Napoleon Hill teaches with his mastermind. Like he was the one who kind of popularized this topic, right? Like everybody learned from him, and I think with a good reason. And so he says, like, when people come together with the same common purpose or common intention, you can kind of link minds and share knowledge, wisdom, and experience with each other. Like you're all tapped into this greater thing. And so that's what we're going to do. When I was at the temple, we used to do this too. We didn't call it a mastermind. And we would set a group intention before a retreat. We did lots of retreats, like weekend retreats, day retreats, 1 week retreats, 4 week retreats. We did so many different things. And we always did the same thing. We would always have, one common intention in the beginning, and then you feel like you're doing it with everybody. It's like you link up and you're doing it together. And there is an analogy within Buddhism that helps to explain group spiritual practice versus solo practice. Like a solo practice is like taking one bristle and trying to clean a room with it. Whereas group practice is like bundling them all together and making a broom. And then you can clean the room really powerfully. So that's what we're going to do. And the intention that I'd like to use is to improve ourselves and help others. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting out of the gym and my dinner. I'm sorry. Improving ourselves and help others. That's why we're here. We're all, spiritual entrepreneurs, heart-centered leaders. We want to grow ourselves personally and professionally and to help others do the same. So we'll do a quick meditation on this now, and that will help us to get on the same page. And then after we'll do the hot seat. All right. Thank you so much. And we can get started. So we can find a comfortable position for meditation. Try to be relaxed and alert. We can let go of everything on our mind. And for the next few minutes, just be here now, enjoying the meditation. We can connect to our breathing. Breathing naturally without trying to control your breath. Just simply follow it with your mind. Every time you inhale or exhale, move your attention closer and closer to the breath until it feels as if they mix and become one. By doing this, we will notice a little bit of peace arising within you. Try to notice this little bit of peace deep in your heart. And if it's not there yet, just imagine that it is. Just feel deeply peaceful in your heart. from this deep place of peace within you, we can remember why we're here. We are here to improve ourselves, to grow personally and professionally. We are here to help others do the same. So we can meditate on this intention and cause it to arise using the words, I'm here to improve myself, to grow personally and professionally, and to help others do the same. Repeat these words to yourself until this intention arises, and stay with this beautiful intention for a while. Here to improve myself and help others. And meditate on this intention. So we can begin to relax our concentration. And when you're ready, we can begin to open our eyes and arise from meditation, keeping this beautiful intention in our heart for the remainder of the call and beyond. Thank you. All right. And so, who would like to go in the hot seat? I think all of us, except for maybe Charlene, have been here before for this. A couple quick rules. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so we don't need to introduce ourselves, except for if you're in the hot seat, you can. We don't need to raise our hand. Just, unmute and go for it. We definitely do want to share, so we don't, any one of us doesn't want to talk or, share for too much. And we need to share things from our own personal experience. So not like, hey, I read a book, go read it. Like, it's okay to add that in the very end if you need to or something, but like I saw a post on Instagram 2 weeks ago, like, let me tell you all about it. Like, it has to be something that we actually have experience of. And if while sharing experience, you quote the source, fine, of course, but it's something you actually have experience of. And I think that's pretty much it. And the topics, if you just share, whoever's in the hot seat can share like a challenge or an opportunity, like, here's a challenge I'm having, please help, or I have an opportunity that I want help capitalizing on, basically. Those are good questions. Anything about spiritual growth or personal growth is good because everyone here is an expert in that. And also, business is another thing that we all have in common. We all at least want to have a business, or we have a business, or we're good at business. We have experience of business and different levels. So those are two really good topics. I mean, yeah, relationships is a fine topic as well. So those are just some suggestions, and thank you. Who would like to go into the hot seat and have your life completely and utterly transformed? All right, Jillian, hooray. I love seeing that. Okay, very good.
This may be quick, because you guys are all superstars, so you'll like help me shift this like within minutes, right? I actually do have kind of a challenge and an opportunity. I was given an opportunity to work closely with Jack Canfield, and I'm an author and I write about my own healing methodology, but I do have a little bit of challenge, talking about myself and putting my work out there fully 100%. And this this opportunity with Jack Canfield is affordable because it is Jack Canfield, but it's and I've signed up to a coaching program that was $30,000, and this is only 15,000, but it's still 15,000, which is something that I don't have in my back pocket right at this moment in time. So that is the challenge. So it is an opportunity and a challenge. So any help would be beautifully received.
Okay, so and then the other part is like, I'm going to ask some clarifying questions until we get the right question, and then the group will help. Okay, and so what would be your intention in joining a program like this? What are you looking for?
This program is coaching it's a small group program. So there's only 17 people allowed in the program. So it's coaching us to write the best book that we can. But it's also, there's a marketing component. So we learn how to best market our book. So it's working with Jack Canfield and Steve Harrison, who is the publisher who published all of Jack's books and others. And it's also, Jack Canfield promotes you as an author and interviews you as an author. So he endorses the book. And then I have like a 3-minute interview with him that we can plaster all over the socials with him endorsing my work.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's what you get. But so what you did was you just told us the sales message. I want to know, like, what do you want from it?
All of that, but also the chance to have someone of that caliber look at my work and recognize me as an author. I think that's really, I'm getting a little emotional because I think that's really what I'd like.
Okay, so the recognition from someone like him. Is he going to be coaching in the program, or is he more of the part of the marketing leg afterwards?
No, he's going to be coaching in the program. The marketing's with Steve Harrison.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, and so are you asking us for permission to join, or are you looking for like support and just like making the decision? Or it sounds like you already know what you want to do.
Yeah, I have made the decision. I think it's the any tools or help with getting into manifesting and stepping into the end result of this being done would be really
Mm.
helpful.
So manifesting the means to get inside the program.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And okay, and then I would put a little twist on it. We don't have to start at the twist. We can come back to this twist. But the twist that I would always add in is like, if it's the most beneficial, like whatever's the most beneficial thing, right?
For all.
Because for all, because I find my wishes and prayers are fulfilled better when I shift it into that, because it opens up a lot more possibility, and sometimes better things are available actually. But again, we don't have to start there.
Yeah, I think it was a live I did last night, and somebody had asked that if she can manifest something specific for her, and I said it is more beneficial when you do open up to this can help me, but think of all of the other people that this will touch and help in their journey as well.
Yeah. So I want to, before I open it up to everybody, I'm just going to give an example. Like today, I met someone who, well, yesterday I think I met them, but I pretty much decided to join a program myself today, right? Because it's a good fit. But like, if you ask me, like, what do I want? Like, I can tell you the results that I want, or I can tell you, like, here's what I actually want. And then the opportunity comes in is a good fit, but it's not about that. It's about like again, like if we're really focused on getting the result and just being with the process, then lots of different things can come in and help to fulfill that. It doesn't have to look like one particular program, for example. There's lots of different things that can do it. And so I'm wondering, you know, what do you feel about that? Like, what
Yeah.
is it like beyond, if you were to go beyond the program, 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, like what actually is happening in your life that's different than it is now? Because again, there may be a better piece to fill that gap than what you even can think about right now.
hmm Well, I think that came in because I have been thinking about, I'm signed with Balboa Press or Hay House to write a book. So they've already accepted the book. The manuscript is not done yet. And I'm having difficulties writing it because I've written books myself and self-published them myself. But because it's Hay House, I'm scared poopless because they're on a pedestal. So I feel like it needs to be at a different caliber. So I think working with someone like Jack Canfield, who's written multiple best-selling, New York Times best-selling books, I think is possibly the answer to I need help writing this book.
It looks like we're trying to use, forgive me if I'm being wrong or rude. It
No, go
looks like
ahead.
we're
It's
trying
fine.
to, so like if something's on a pedestal, that is the first mistake, obviously,
Oh,
right?
of course.
And it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
we're trying to get a second pedestal to get us onto the first one, right? I want to introduce you. I have a friend who I'm going to be working with and helping her with her business as a partnership. She's amazing, and she helps people to, guess what she does? Write books from flow. And
Wow.
she's starting a company, a publishing company called Priestess Publishing, that I'm going to help her with too. And she's a phenomenal human being, extremely spiritually tapped in. And I think that you should meet her before you do anything. So like, that's just an aside, but like,
hmm
well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like there are other things
Other
available, and
roads.
she doesn't charge 15,000 either,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, the second part of that is it's Jack Canfield. So that opens me up to him endorsing my work, opens me up to millions of people who would know, oh, there's that Jillian girl, she, teaches kinetic divination, right? Like
What I
there's,
see when I see people like Jack Canfield promoting stuff, I know that he sells out his image, him and Bob Proctor. I know that they do that. I know that's part of the program, so I ignore it. If someone has them promoting them
Mm,
because I know it, but that's just me. I already know how that model works. But like I'm sure like 90% of people don't know that. But like I don't give it more credit. I just think, oh, they paid for that
right.
and how cool. They paid for that. That's so nice. Right. But like
Yeah, true.
again, like we have to make sure we're going in the right direction. And it's not about the piece, it's about the direction. Because like you'll find the pieces to fit, I believe. That's just my opinion.
Hmm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. And I don't want you to smash any dreams, obviously. We can help you manifest it, but
Well, no, and that's a good clarity with um, being open to, and I totally am open to the best route for me and the healing methodology. Like it's not just me, it's not just my business, but there's a whole different other piece, which is the healing methodology as well.
this woman, Akasha, I mean, you should talk to her. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm totally open to. I'd love that intro.
At least meet her. You may feel something. But
Yeah.
okay, well that's good. Why don't we see? I don't know. Does anyone else have any? It's like a really interesting question that you brought. It's a very uncommon question.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. I like that.
I mean, it's because it's almost like a two-parter. It's like I already know I want
Yeah.
to do this, so help me do it, and or please help me figure out if I should
What's
even do this,
best?
right?
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. What do you guys think? Like, what are your emotions like before you make big investments? And like, how do you know you made the right choices? I think that might be a good question. Or whatever, whoever wants to contribute, you can go ahead.
I, I have something to offer if you'd like to hear it.
Love to. Yeah.
All right. So I run a construction company. I've been doing that for about 30 years now. And I'm a small entrepreneur, and I've landed myself in a very affluent neighborhood, and my business is catapulted. I work much less and I make a lot more. That being said, I'm in this type of affluence out here is a lot of uh, type of folks like you'd like to go to Jack. What's his name? John Cornfield. Uh,
Canfield, Jack Canfield.
what is it?
It's
Canfield,
it's
Jack.
Yeah,
the chicken
Jack.
soup for the soul guy. The chicken soup for the
Gotcha.
Yeah.
soul guy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah. So I happen to be friends with a publisher out here too. Uh, so I hear some of the stories and I met some of the people. And the biggest thing is it's still a risk, right? So I go from that construction perspective where I look at a calculated risk and try to separate it from the dream, because the dream doesn't have any sense of responsibility. It just reaches for the stars, and that's beautiful. I love what you're going for. I think it could really catapult you. But I know out here I've rubbed elbows with some of the rich and famous, and it didn't generate the fruit I was hoping for. And then I found abundance with somebody that was like really out here, maybe more lowbrow. And I just found much more pleasant work, and I did much better financially. And one of them was a talk show host out here. His wife was very difficult, and like I had a job that I could have made $700,000 from 9 months to a year and a half of my time. And I walked away from it because I could tell that I'd be in litigation within 45 to 90 days. They were very irrational. So I'm only sharing that story with you that I could have used that money. I've never made that kind of money in my life. But I'm sharing that story with you because then it brings me back to the math. So you're going to go 15 in the hole. I don't know what kind of money you make, and it's not my business. But anytime I'm going to take on debt, I want to see a return on it, because I really don't function well if that debt turns into a black cloud. It crushes my creativity and my ability to be creative where you need to go. I mean, you need to be really rolling with the punches. You don't know where it's going to come from. And when it comes, you're going to have to pounce. It's going to be a book signing on the other side of the state, or it's going to be a book signing on the other side of the country, or it's going to be an interview with somebody that can make or break you. So that game with debt over the top of my head loses my game. If it causes me 1 hour of a sleepless night because I don't know where the money's going to come from to pay the rent at the end of the month, I'm focusing on that instead of my bigger dream, that I really need to be mindful of the many opportunities that may come from this experience, but no guarantees that it will, So that's just my 2 cents. That's what I do to monitor my stress. And when I'm not wearing stress, I'm much more creative, and I find gold all over the place that nobody else saw. When I'm stressed out, I'm never mind what's going on in my head. I'm not always the best person to be around. That's it. That's my 2 cents. If it helps, and if not, throw it away.
No, I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like that's good advice. Go ahead.
Yeah, that sounded, all this advice sounded really good. I just want to add in, I guess what I heard from you, I just want to get clarity on something first, though. Is this something that anyone can do, or you specifically got this opportunity?
No, anybody can sign up for it. They're only opening it up to 17 people, though.
Okay, big deal. I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, but people say that
Yeah,
all the time.
it's not like I'm handpicked, and John
Right.
is right that in the sense of, you pay enough money
Mhm.
and you can be endorsed by,
Right.
X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z.
Yeah. As a coach, I'm trained to not give advice, but yet let me just ask you a few things. What I heard you saying, what I heard you saying is the perfectionistic piece came out when you were scared shitless when you heard about it was Jack Canfield and that publisher. So you were feeling the pressure, and your fight or flight brain kind of came on, all about that. So I just wonder, do you think any of this has to do with proving yourself? Or I'm just curious because you sound incredible. Like you sound like you're really sort of like way high intellect on this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because after this opportunity came and I was feeling into it, and the work that I do a lot of muscle testing. I do a lot of, sitting into the emotions and the opportunities and the questions. And when I was doing that, there was a lot that came up around when I was going to share this with people, this opportunity with people. And I wrote a post, I posted it. And there was this fear of, if I'm showing up and saying that I have this opportunity, my family, their first reaction would be, he's a con artist.
Mine
That's
too.
a scam.
Yeah, that's my family.
Yep. And I thought, okay, so that's a biggie. That's great. But the other part of that came up was, is that why I'm not standing on my soapbox and screaming from the top of my lungs of what I offer? Because my family would think that I was a scam as well. Yeah, I know that they would. I know that they do, right?
They
A couple
think
months
it's a scam?
ago, I had a podcast interviewer. It was a podcast with two hosts. And I said to them, hey, I have a healing modality. Let's do a healing session for each of you. And then for the interview, we talk about what you experienced. And they said, awesome. I didn't know that the one of the interviewers was dealing with cancer, had been for 2.5 years. He had a biopsy 2 days after my session with him. And they biopsied 13 different spots because it had metastasized. And the spots that they took, the cancer was gone. And he said on air, I felt something after your session, and I think it's what you led me through. I think it was your healing modality that healed my cancer. Like, he said that on air. So I phoned my mom and I'm like, hey, you can't, this is incredible. I'm so excited. And my mother said, Jillian, no one will believe you.
Wow.
So I know at this opportunity, maybe it's not the opportunity to work with Jack Canfield. Maybe it was all of this stuff that bubbled up to the surface after me going, oh, I'd love to jump into that, making the decision. And then all of those fears and realizations of, you can't talk about this because nobody will believe you.
Mm. So you're distinguishing between whether or not it's from the bubbling up from this about this challenge that your mother gave you, really discredited you, you felt, or whether it's about the actual opportunity is what you're wondering. You're not sure. So you're sort of stuck not knowing is what it sounds like. Correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
It's a valid, it sounds like it's
Yeah.
the validation piece too. Sorry.
The emotional piece.
No, I said valid.
No, the quiet.
Validation. No, you go. Sorry, you go.
No, that's true though. Yeah, the validation of working with somebody at that caliber.
Like if I'm
Is
going
that what
to
you
do
mean?
it, yeah, like that. I think you had already said it earlier. Like you wanted the validation of someone of his caliber, because then you may feel what you're missing inside, which is, you know, what your mom just said that you'll never have, which is like, no one's going to believe you. And like, you can't buy that. Like there isn't a magic pill for that. It does sound like you're looking for a magic pill. And when I hear people tell me other people's sales messages as if it's truth and fact, I already know they're going in the wrong direction. It happens all the time. If we can't put things in our own words, then we just don't, there's a bigger world than one person's sales message. And I hear it all the time, especially when people are into MLMs. They're like, you know, obviously you see it all the time, but like literally that's what you said was you packaged his, it's a wonderful offer. And he's not a con artist, obviously. He makes good offers. It's an excellent world-class offer, the way it's packaged. And he's going to fulfill on his promises. So he's not a con artist. But it is a magic pill that I think that you're looking for. and you won't be able to find it because it's an external solution for an internal problem. And you could just work on the internal problem now that you've isolated it, you know, which is I just want to believe in myself and I want to have faith that other people will believe in me too. And one more thing, Jesus couldn't perform miracles in his hometown. I tell this to everybody, including myself. Jesus couldn't perform miracles in his hometown because people didn't have faith in him. He had to go to other towns so that they would have faith, because miracles depend on faith. They depend on faith to receive one. And so that is the truth.
You know, I'm not Jesus, and that hit me hard. I'm not saying I'm Jesus or an ascended master, but I moved away from my hometown.
Yeah.
I knew that I couldn't stay there. I knew that I had to move away from my hometown.
And what it means is if people view you as ordinary, we cannot seek validation from them. Like we will never find it. And so we have to go beyond it and just be satisfied that they're never going to feel that way. And we go and do it like what you did. Like you're already doing it. Some people are stuck not believing in themselves. You do believe in yourself. I think you're just not ready to like talk about it in a big way or something, or you are ready, but
I'm out of the nest. I'm just still on the branch.
It's like you're looking back on the people who don't believe in you, wondering if they're going to validate you. And
well, this is like Debbie and I had a conversation. This is CPTSD, right? CPTSD is you're told every day for decades, you suck, you suck, you suck. And you're in that vibration. So when we have that CPTSD, we actually witness, we view the whole world through the eyes and the filter of our abuser, not through the eyes of these people are like me. They're my people. I'm safe with them. We actually see the world through the eyes of the abuser, which is something that takes a minute to disconnect from.
I understand. I mean, I frame that as like a leadership, you know, problem essentially. And like one advice I've gotten from a teacher that I think is, you know, we've all heard this. It just clicked for me for some reason. It was like, it was in a Buddhist practice, which is like one way to solve almost every problem is just view yourself through the eyes of an enlightened being, or whatever you want to call it, God, divine. Look at yourself through their eyes, and what would they see? And that is the way to reverse what you're talking about, like looking at ourselves through the eyes of our abuser is
Mm,
clearly not going to work, but like we just need to
yeah.
practice with the opposite of like viewing ourselves through the
Oh
most
my
holy
gosh.
eyes that exist.
That's powerful.
It's a literal, you could just sit and practice it for hours. It is the
Yeah.
only transformative thing in the world, I would say, actually.
Wow. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Hello, Marie.
Thank you for that. Hi, Marie.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have any tidbits before I pass the baton? Thank you guys. This has been so great.
Well, you thought it was going to be quick, but we've opened
Yeah.
up a
Can't
beautiful
pass the baton so quick.
thing here. I think that we don't need to rush it. I mean, how do you
Right.
feel so
No.
far?
Emotional. There's a lot coming up. Really good though, like
Yeah.
really good. The Jesus couldn't perform miracles in his hometown, that was like, that just was like a 2x4 across my head. And then in a good way. And then the viewing myself from the eyes of God, Jesus, the universe.
Yeah.
Just as a quick story, I used to, and I still do, whenever I would drive past anywhere and I see like an animal chained outside, I would do a prayer and I'd send them love. And this happened for years. And I'd be like, I hope somebody loves you as much as, like I would. I hope that you're taken care of, and I hope that you're honored and you're healthy and you're just respected beyond your little heart could just hold, right? And then one day I did that and I went, whoa, wait a minute. Do I do that for myself? And that changed. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of me looking at myself a little bit differently.
That's beautiful.
Wow. That's really powerful. And I actually this is so interesting because about viewing two things with what you guys just said, with just like viewing yourself like as your own best friend or your daughter or whatever it is, right? How would you treat them? I just had that conversation with my friend it's really valuable because it takes off of this. She, I was very honest with her when she's talking to her son. She's heard from psychiatrists in a box, like she's putting him in this box. And I said, well, ultimately we talked longer, but I said, you want to view him in his highest self, like he's ready behaving. And like, that's part of it. And that's like hugely powerful. Yeah. And you view yourself that way as well. And treat them. So you have that expectation of them. It changes things drastically. I got told that 5 years ago when I worked with an energy coach. She said that about my son when he was not behaving well. And she said, you need to view him as if he is in the future doing really well, and treat him the way he sees through that energetically.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to return to the sales conversation if you're okay. I do a lot of high ticket sales. I've studied it, I've practiced it, I've bought things, I sell things. I know a lot about the psychology of what's happening and the energetics of what's happening, I think. And so, in my opinion, when someone is really, really ripe for a program, they're so motivated towards the result that it's almost like nothing can stop them. Like that's who's going to get the best results. They're already like rushing there. They have momentum. They almost don't hire someone sometimes because they're like, I can pretty much do it on my own. And some of the coaches that helped me a lot, they had said that their best clients almost don't hire them because they're like this close to getting results on their own, right? And I just didn't hear that from what you said. It was almost like you're in a hole because of the creativity block, for example, or whatever you want to call it. You're in the hole, and you just want something to get you out of it. But it wasn't like a rushing towards a result. And I think that's the energy that will help someone to be successful in a high ticket program, especially, is rushing towards the result, almost not even caring what the tools are that you pick up. Like I used to do construction like Kenny, but like I did a lot of renovations, and my boss was like Fred Flintstone. We would literally use any tool to be any other tool. Like you could make a hammer be a screwdriver if you wanted to. Like we would use anything for anything. He was a master of it, and it just taught me so much, and it worked.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm talking about. Like if you really want a thing, you'll use whatever you come to, and you'll make it work for you. Right? It's not about like the business in a box or whatever, like that they want to package it as. And also, there's some divine, intervention sometimes of just like not like sometimes we meet something like this, you're like this close to doing it, and it helps to ignite the motivation. And the means don't come because what you really needed was just to get moving towards that destination on your own, and then later a solution comes in. That happens too sometimes.
Yeah, I think that feels like what this is.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
If I were to analyze,
I think that opportunity allowed me to like, I don't know, I did 3 or 4 voice notes, because when stuff comes up, I have to talk it out. And so I record myself, and then I'll go back and see what I need to shift. But 3 or 4 voice notes from that one opportunity, because all of these things were bubbling up to the surface.
Yeah. And what I love, and maybe you're being so kind, and earlier today we did one of these hot seats, and the person was in the hot seat for the entire call. And I'm happy if that happens again. But I think like the next question that arises is about the validation piece. And it's like, well, let's find a way to get it. Like, I think that's one of my manifestation techniques, is thinking, okay, what is the inner thing that I'm really looking for? And we always put the cart before the horse. Sometimes we think like, what I really want is this, but let me get this so I can get this. But like sometimes you can just get the thing directly, right? In a different, more direct way. And then you don't need the other thing. And so like, what is a way to find more validation? Like to feel more validated in what you do, even if you don't cure cancer, like even if that isn't like that is sort of a dangerous claim to fame, I would say, in today's world for bizarre reasons. But but it's still like it's obviously very valid. It's highly valid. So how can we feel that way and feel comfortable talking about it? I guess, is that the right question, or what's the missing piece for you with the validation?
I'm not sure, because when I heard that from this podcast host, that honestly, I don't know, thankfully, I felt when he said that, I was like taken aback. I felt like I'd been punched, and I was scared. For like a week after that, I was scared. And it took a week for me to finally phone my mom and tell her what was up, because it's live, it's out there in the interwebs. So that, after the freak out, the scared part, then I started feeling validated, because that was something. And I have like hundreds of testimonials and reviews. So that's really nice, but it didn't give me the validation. But today, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, sorry.
Well, today, after that opportunity and all these blocks started bubbling up of like, oh shoot, I can't talk about this because they're going to think that I'm, he's a scam artist. And that's why I'm not showing up, because my family would 100% think that I'm a scam artist or a con artist. So I think that was the thing, that once I break that open, then I can feel like the work is validated, just because it is. I am validated because this is from my heart.
I mean, I can 100% promise that you won't feel validated if someone else endorses you on video, no matter how famous they are. 100%.
Yeah.
If nothing else changes. And so, a simple, like an interview 3-minute clip that would work even better would be a clip that he says, but there's some reason why you're not using it. You said you're not using the hundreds of testimonials. Did you just say that?
Oh, I am. No, I do have them, and they are, sprinkled along my website and my business page, and I share it out whenever, once every 1 or 2, 3 weeks. They They are there. I do use them. I haven't felt like they had any weight to them
Okay.
for some reason.
I wanna support you with the marketing side of things. Let's talk about that some other time.
Okay, thank you.
If you take the 3-minute clip or whatever, however many minutes, like a short clip of the guy saying what happened, that's more powerful than a famous person saying something, because people can feel, people can feel
Yeah.
the intention and the realness behind things, like especially your audience. And if you're doing it for yourself for inner reasons, it won't solve those. And so we have to find another way to solve that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Alex Hermosi?
I do.
He's become very
I know
popular.
him. He is.
And so he talks about, like, he had to die to his dad in order so he could live for himself. Right. And I've been at my parents' house this summer, and doing some of that work with them too, actually, of like, I don't know what you'd call it, but taking leadership back is what I would call it. Taking complete, full leadership back. And I was hanging on for them to like come around.
Yeah.
Come around. And I was like giving all these chances, and my life kept crumbling every time. Literally every time my parents would come to visit me, wherever I was, my business would crash because I was waiting for them. I was always giving my dad the chance to like take the lead. And like, he just didn't do that much when I was a kid. And so like, part of me just really wanted my dad to do that. And I just had to accept he's never, ever, ever going to do that. And I even confronted him this time, and he's very clear. He's never going to do that. And so, yeah. And so, but like, I can let that part die. I can stop trying to live to be their version of me, and I can just start living to be my version of me. Right. And there's something there happening with, I think, your mom too, of like, if you can die to her, you can live for yourself.
My God, there's like, you need to publish t-shirts. There's been like, that's the third or fourth huge like bomb that you've dropped. Yeah, that's powerful.
I'm good at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's true. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so Jillian, I'm curious what part of you says I'm a scam artist? Like, where do you feel that in your body?
In my body, that's my heart, but also my solar plexus.
Okay, so you remember you did it with me yesterday. You walked me right through wiping that feeling behind my tongue out, right?
Yeah.
So you have the tools and the power to talk through that, make sure it's ready to leave, make sure it's safe to leave, and then see what comes up once that's gone. I think that, and from personal experience, I have a thing with my mom too that I've recently uncovered. A back injury actually helped me come to the realization that I can be really, really mean to myself. And when I did I caught myself, y'all, I was like, what am I allowed to be? I was saying some really vulgar things to myself internally as I was trying to get up while my back was hurting. And I stopped myself and I was like, whoa, that wasn't my voice. Who was that? And I sat with it for a while, and I realized that it was my mom's voice and it was my aunt's voice. And what I said was verbatim things that I've heard them say to their self before out loud. And I think that especially as children, it might not be to us, right? They might be talking about somebody in the community, but we're little sponges, so we soak it up and it has a way of becoming our inner story. So I don't know, I feel like if you do the same exercise just on yourself that you did with me yesterday, it's gonna clear that writing block that you have,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
scam's gonna go away.
Yeah, I think, and I do KD, I do the work almost every day. But this is a new block or realization that this opportunity that I wanted to jump into brought to the surface. I didn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't, it's so funny how the blocks are there, but they're not. We don't, they're subconscious. We don't recognize them. I wasn't, I was trying to show up and I was pushing myself to show up every day and talk every day and speak every day and share content and share this and share that and do the tools and do the stuff. And I was doing it, but I wasn't aware that I was doing it from the energy of they'll think I'm a scam. But now I'm aware of that's where I was living. That's where I was vibrating from. So I was doing all the things and I was sharing the testimony after testimony after testimonial, but I wasn't getting the traction that I probably should have been. And that's why I think hopefully that's like the hopefully that's it. Maybe if I, shift that and remove that boulder and show up in a different vibration, that vibration is so important. So I think that's a really powerful piece.
Yeah,
I'll keep you
and
posted.
you guys are still talking. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead, Marie, if you
No.
were. Oh, okay. I just don't want to forget though. You want to focus on where you're going, not where you don't want to go. Yeah, wherever you focus is what's going to grow. So right now, you were focusing on where you don't want to go. You don't want to be a scam artist. You don't want to be, that's going to grow. Instead, I want you to shift that and focus on where you are going, where you
100%.
write that in great
But
detail.
I didn't know that was the vibration was already there. So I was showing up and I was functioning from, and I wasn't aware of it. It was subconscious. So I was sharing all of these testimonials are here. Look what this person said. But in my vibration, I was already vibrating at, you're not going to believe me anyway. Or you'll think that I'm a piece of what anyway. But I didn't know that until today.
Your energy is coming through though as you talk. Think about what you're saying verbally. Be really aware that that's creating an energy too. I know you know that already, and that's like really important because all these things you're saying are the negativity. And I mean, obviously we can't be all positive all the time, but
I have to be aware of all of the negativity, the vibration that's there, so that I can shift it and then totally be aligned with what I want. Because I can't take in what I want while still feeling like I'm a scam artist.
Yeah, you're just putting words to it. I think it's great. I think you're doing fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing, like one more, like a little nuance to the shift that I would add that you might want to consider is sometimes we are mentally talking to the wrong audience, and we're holding in our mind someone else, like the people who we're trying to convince of something. But if we elevate the audience that you want to talk to, they're the people who already believe in this stuff. They don't need any convincing. Scam artist isn't even part of their idea of what healers are. And if you speak to them, your vibe will automatically go up as well, because you'll be feeling what you'll be able to provide to them, I feel. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I functioned for the first 5 years in my business talking to my audience like I was trying to convince them.
And what I'm saying is one way to do is to work on our approach, but almost a simpler way sometimes is like find a new group of people to talk to. It's just simply knowing that there's a different psyche out there that if you just talk to, they're already way more advanced than the initial people. They're way more advanced. Talk to them like they're the people that you probably would love to work with, but part of you's like, no, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm ready. Maybe they don't need me. Well, great. If they don't need you, that's even better. Then they want you and they don't need you. How cool would that be to work with people
who? Oh my God, you did it again, John.
Right?
Listen back to all of these and make t-shirts.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, we'll make hats. I like hats.
That's such a fantastic point, though, actually, because you're really just speaking to one person who you really would love to be speaking to, and ignore all the other people and then give it to whatever audience you want. But you're going to have a completely different vibration if you know they're already accepting you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Ooh,
You think of an actual
yeah.
person.
Oh my gosh. Let's muscle test that. They already accept me.
Because they are you, Gillian. Everyone is
Yeah.
you. And it's like this question I always ask is, you know, how is this me? Whether it's past, present, or future. And when we like surround ourselves with people that are doing the things that we desire, like they're like representative of our future selves. And like this does
Mm.
have this desire to have balance, abundance, because we are abundant. And so that saying is like when you surround yourself with the people, like the 6 closest people, if they are inspiring, if they are living the life, if they are doing the things that you want, surround yourself with more of those people, like in this space. And it's like clients come to you, you know, they will probably be you, but 5 years ago, you know, or if you don't want that person that's 5 years ago and you want more of them more conscious, that are aware that, like John was saying, more advanced, it's like, well, how is this me? You know, how do I attract more of that? How do I share in sales, share in being present online, that transformative process of how amazing you are right now, because you are, you know, and people are desiring that shift and that change. So yeah, everything's a reflection. It's just a matter of like whether you take it in and go, like really want to analyze it, or just accept it and allow and just see the beauty in what comes through. And that's the surrender in the feminine. And then the masculine, take an action of speaking your truth and speaking your authenticity. And this is where that balance of the feminine and the masculine dance beautifully together in yourself. And whether you're attracting clients that are male or female that are wanting more of that, they will see that reflection in you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
It's beautiful.
So may I weigh in?
Yeah.
I love what I'm paying attention to the feedback everybody's getting, and it really sounds very positive, you know, Jillian. And I was thinking, I really think I'm feeling from this side, like I feel your pain. Like I'm wrestling with, I don't want to present as a con. I want to present as authentic as possible. And then I'm thinking what John was saying, which is part of a practice I do, which is when we went into this, we meditated on bringing the best intention we can to fruition. So my best intention in a Buddhist practice is that I'm trying to reach enlightenment so I can turn around and be of help and use to all the other sentient beings in this world. So if I'm doing this for the benefit of others, now it's a little easier for me to drop the 50-pound pack of shit on my back that I'm carrying around that thinks I'm not worthy. And it also gives me some strength to take my power back from those that I've given it away to, needing their validation. And now I can apply that towards my own validation and start applying and putting the tire to the rubber, or the rubber to the street, without those distractions of weight that pull us down, of like who we were yesterday. I heard someone say once in one of my retreats that I went to that if I want to advance my practice, I have to kill the Kenny that I know today to be born into a new Kenny tomorrow, right? So we're not the same 7-year-old we were. None of us are the same 7-year-old. We're grown up. We've advanced in our life. We become adults. But our own parents sometimes still have a habit of going, remember you when you were 7? And then from there, the more negativity can come from that. It goes from cute to like holding us back and not allowing us to spread our wings, and we allowed them to do that. You know, we can say, yeah, that was cute, but I'm not that person anymore. You know, that kid's dead. Kenny at 7 doesn't exist. His teeth were missing. He grew some new ones in. You know, it's not the same Kenny. Somehow with a little light humor, but again, reminding us that we're all here to be a benefit to other people. So we've got to shed our luggage so that we can actually be our true authentic self with spiritual pride in how we conduct ourselves and helping others, you know? And I know for my own self, this has been an uphill, but I've battled with this for decades, and I've gotten I got really way ahead of it. When it acts up now, I take myself right to the cushion to meditate. I know it's all BS. Today, I know it's BS. I know it's just old stories, old tapes playing in my head that don't exist anymore. You know, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It is so true. I worked in long-term care and I did behavior support. So when we got called in, it was because there was at least one resident who was having explosive behavior, and usually it was physical. They were attacking other residents. And so we would go in. I was not a nurse, I was a personal support worker. And my job was to follow this resident around, take notes of what their behavior was, what was triggering them, what were they dealing with. And I noticed, because I have that scientific analytical mind, 90% of these outbursts were because they were dealing with a trauma that happened 80 years previously.
Wow.
And they're still struggling with that trauma from that when they were 5 or 12, and they're 95 now. And that scared the shit out of me, because I thought, I don't want to be a 90-year-old if I get there. Heaven help me. If I get to be 90 something years old, I don't want to be struggling with this stuff. That's one of the reasons why this healing modality dropped into my head, because I asked for it.
I have another one of those special quotes for you if you want it.
Okay, hit me.
This one might be good too. This is something I've been working this through with my parents. So like I said this to them essentially, but it's like what I said is like your comfort zone, like it's just not a safe place for me, right? And you know, the quote that we've all probably heard is like your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. But like I would go further and say like your parents' comfort zones for you is definitely where you go to die. And so you just have to like step out of it. Like that's all it is. Like Kenny was saying, like they're trying to protect you, but like their comfort zone for you is just so small. And like that's part of like the parent's instinct. They have to do that. There's nothing that they can do about it. They're never going to change. And so you have
this
to
is
just
even deeper. Like they're narcissists. And if you know anything about the narcissist and the child, there's the golden child, which was my brother, and then the scapegoat, which was me. So I was called Cinderella. I was treated as a servant. It was bad.
I mean, I've noticed that coming up, you know, with me as well. And the way it's manifesting is like dumping their stuff on me. And I just get really clear of like, we're never doing that again. Never do that again. I'm not taking this ever again. And I just like at one point I just started noticing it, and I just, you know, found the way to talk about it calmly and just be extremely clear. Never again. And obviously that's a work in progress, but the boundary is clear, and it's like important to have. And just one little quick point to add to what Kenny was saying about the enlightenment thing is like the one way that I become maybe you don't need to hear this, maybe you're a master of boundaries, but like if somebody wanted help with getting more masterful with boundaries, what I'd say is this is what I do. I'm extremely, extremely, extremely savage with my boundaries, okay? But it's because I know how many people I'm going to be helping. And I do the calculation where I'm like, if one person gets in my way of helping all these people, they're indirectly harming all these people. And I can never allow that to happen. And I'm extremely clear. So I protect myself, but it has nothing to do with me. It's not for me. It's for others. It's for my mission. It's for the other people. And that's why I will never allow anybody to interrupt anything that I'm doing. When it comes to my schedule or anything else, whoosh, lock tight, and zero tolerance, extremely low tolerance for anything. And it's out of love though. It's out of love for who I'm going to be helping. And that makes me more savage than most people you ever meet, but more loving also than most people you ever meet. So anyway, you can try that one on if you want to.
Tap into my mama bear mode.
It's like that. It's like, why is it more pressing? Just because this person is a closer proximity to me, they're closer to me physically in this moment. Does that make them more important? Does that make what's happening right now more important than all the people I'm going to be helping? We need to make that more real. Empathize with all the people that you're going to be helping and make that feel more real, but also it's multiplied because it's so many people. And this is just one confused person. One confused person, all these people who are meant to help. You do the math and there's no competition. But again, you have to get in touch with it so it feels real. And then the time, again, like the time is irrelevant. Just because they're now and the other things later doesn't mean that there's less importance later and more importance now. Not true, right? And so you can just, it's just about saying no. It's like, no, no, I am not going to, I'm not going to try to meet the needs of confused people who are going to harm my prospects of helping more people and fulfilling my purpose and all those things. Never.
Yeah.
None of that. It is so selfish.
I blocked my family. So I'm adopted.
Oh.
And my biological family is in Nova Scotia. And I came to Nova Scotia to kind of get to know them a little bit better. But they were very judgmental of my business and very close-minded of anything to do with healing. So I was showing up online, doing the work, doing the lives, and they would start to share and kind of critique in a very negative way. So I reached out and I said, listen, this is my business that you're messing with. So I'm blocking you. I have to do what's right for my business. And I blocked all their passes. They're none.
And then
Good for you. Good for you. You know, it's your life, right? You're responsible to get up to the alarm. You're responsible to put yourself to bed. You're responsible to feed yourself, take care of your health, take care of your clothing. Perhaps you're going to take care of offspring. I don't know, but it's your life. And, you know, God damn it, you're in charge of your life. Nobody else in this room is responsible for you, but you. You're your own boss. You're your own CEO. You're responsible. You're running a business. You're running a company, and you're in charge of your life. And as long as we hold on to that state of mind, mixing it with being loving. But I love what you described. That's a healthy boundary. And I would just say, you know, if there's any anger behind it, that's the part that gets sticky, right? The more we get rid of that and we turn it into love and still stay strong, the easier we breathe, the less stress we carry. Not always easy to get there, right? I know I have a special challenge with a family member or two that's very judgmental. And I only see him every 3 years or so. And even that, put on my armor, go in there with a kind mind, and put up boundaries and just walk away, you know? But I love him, but we don't play nice together. So I admire that story you just told us. It's inspiring to me that you stood up to, you know, because that could have been a craving for, like, these are my biological family. And you're like, yeah, you're not having it. You were in charge of your life. You were your best CEO, representing your business and its best interest. So awesome.
Thank you.
how does this feel so far, Jillian?
Good, really good. Lots of things. I've made some notes. I'll probably rewatch this replay, and
Cool.
the opportunity doesn't feel like an opportunity. It feels like it was an opportunity only for me to see that there was this block that was affecting me from showing up as my authentic self, in my truth.
Yeah, like a catalyst. It was a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Cool. Okay.
Did you see the notes that I wrote you? I just want to make sure you see it. I just was clarifying what I said before.
Okay. No, I'm going to see if I can.
Case the vision, focus it on speaking your exact vision using words in the positive meaning. So for example, say I want to be authentic and believable and amazing rather than I do not want to be looking like a scammer. So you use the positive. It has that energy vibration. It really does make a difference, a huge difference. It's like when you.
Yeah, I hear you. But when that was already in my vibration and I wasn't conscious of it, it's important for me to feel into the vibration, because if it's rooted like what Brittany was asking, where is that in your body? It
Oh, right.
was totally connected to my heart and my solar plexus.
Oh,
So
wow.
that vibration was living in my body and I wasn't aware of it. So when I was
Mhm.
showing up and saying, hey, come work with me, my audience, maybe my people were feeling this push-pull because I was saying, yes, I can help you. And I was owning that, but there was maybe a vibration of, you may think I'm a scam artist.
Got it. It's more
That
energetic.
vibration was already there. So
Got
I
it.
had to speak it out of my body.
Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. Got it.
I have to look at that energy and that vibration. And sometimes if it's a deep wound, it's not just that one little piece. So if I focus on that vibration, the stuff that comes up with it is part of it. It may not be that little piece, it may just be this big
It's still there. I
iceberg.
hear what you're saying. Yeah.
So I have to bring it all up.
Right. Because it gets stuck in your body. I do get what you're saying. Sometimes words
And we
don't.
can't be afraid of saying the negative if that's how we feel.
It's true. That's true.
We have to look at it. We have to look at it.
I feel like you're both right here. Yeah, there's positive ways of looking at negativity and working with negativity. It's 100% required. We have to do it. And I'm pretty sure Debbie was saying, like, not now, but
I'll
later
just stay there.
when you don't go do posts in that moment. But I think what maybe Debbie was missing was like that. Even if we're not thinking the negativity in front of our mind, it's still there until we work with it. So we have to actually work with it. So let's work with it.
Yeah. And I'm not about toxic positivity, but believe me. So that's not where I was going. If you're thinking that, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
No, I know that you have a pure heart. I know that you were promoting me only focusing on the positive and calling up the positive into my life. And I totally will do that after I shift this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you're interpreting it correctly. I'm not sure. That's sort of what I'm saying. Yeah. I think you get the idea. You have plenty of knowledge.
She's got it.
Yeah, you've got this.
Okay, and so we can start winding up unless anyone would like to say anything else before we wind up. Oh, let's mute Cam.
Oh, I wanted to say, I didn't really get into this, but there is a method that I use that I was taught in the Health Coach Institute, where we went through the script where people step into one side of the decision. They're making a big decision and they actually step forward with their body into each decision, which as if they've already been there. And then how does it feel? And you pay attention to how you feel in your body. And then you may be ready to make the decision after that, or you may still need a middle ground. But the point is that it's really getting out of your head and into your body, in case that helps you at all. I mean, or I could even do it on you if you want, but not right now, probably. It's time.
Thank you. Well, yeah. I think I'm good with this opportunity. I think I feel like I don't think it's an opportunity that I will be accepting or even going towards at this time. I think that opportunity was only for me to see that block, that resistance, that vibration that I don't want to live in was there without me knowing it.
For sure.
So that was
I'd love to offer one more piece of advice if Jillian was happy to hear.
Of course, yeah.
Just listening to the pieces that were coming up with, understanding our mother-father wounds, the parental pieces that frame our foundation, because we obviously choose our biological parents, and obviously you also being adopted have another energetics in your parental line. So something beautiful that I do with my clients and for myself on my own healing journey, in healing the feminine and the masculine with our parents that we choose, when we think about the epigenetics, when we think about the physical structure in our body as well as the energetic template that comes in. You could just do something simple where having your hands out and placing in your left, which is your feminine side, your biological mother and your adoptive mother, and holding them with beautiful light and honor, even if there is tension and if there is past trauma, and holding them with love and honor. And in your right, your biological father, your adoptive father, whether you know them or not, because energetically you're on a soul level, you know, and just holding them with just love and honor and forgiveness, and just spending some time on each side and thanking them for the gifts, thanking them for the courage, thanking them for the values and the qualities that you've received from them. And then the same with your masculine side, you know, and thanking that part of you that is in your cellular structure, in your energetics, that also dance with your own sovereign being, because this is how we heal the lineage pieces as well. And you can bring that to your heart, you know, once you sit with it, and you'll find in that meditative process what comes through. And then just holding that in your heart for a few deep breaths and just honoring those pieces and bringing that into your vessel. Because like Dr. Clueless was saying, you get to be the CEO, you get to be the king and the queen of your life. And that's the feminine and the masculine. We can put archetypes on it. You know, John was talking about this fearlessness, and what came to me was like this warrior essence. And my warrior essence within me is turned on, particularly this year. So we have the softness and the priestess and the warrior. We have the king and the queen, whatever you want to call it. They're all the same. It's the feminine and the masculine. But just acknowledging those pieces in your lineage as well through, you know, we've talked about a lot of different things, but for you to hold that, bring it into your heart with love and forgiveness. And who knows, in regards to communication, your relationship with them, you know, you speak to them on a soul level, that things could become a little bit more easeful, more graceful, you know, more accepting, because again, they are you and you are them, and they get to see a part of you that they never got to even have the opportunity to be. So even though there's some criticism and things, there's also on a soul level a deep honoring that they're unable to communicate, they're unable to be consciously aware of. So just knowing and trusting the power of your sovereignty and that creator being essence, that we are God, we are goddess. And knowing that in your heart, knowing it is so, it's just infinite, you know. But to believe it and to feel it in your body, that's another level. So I just thought I'd offer that little piece for you to, you know, consider if you'd like to try it. And that's for anyone that's listening in.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you, everybody.
That's
Very
beautiful.
powerful.
There's one more question that I want to ask you, and we don't have to answer it now, but I would just feel like I missed something if we don't ask it. This is for you to, you can tell us the answer if you want to, or you can just think about it. But the question is like, why did you call your, I think it was your mom, after the interview, a few days or whatever, however long it was? Like, why did you call, what was that urge and what was the nudge? I would love to know that.
Yeah, I know exactly why. Because if somebody saw the interview that knows her and phones her up and says, holy crap, Jillian thinks she's doing this, or I heard Jillian say this, or whatever. And if Sharon, who's my mother who raised me, if Sharon heard that from someone else and not me, I would have been in trouble.
In trouble. Okay.
She would have been blindsided, because she has a facade to uphold. Everyone thinks that, you know, her family is perfect. So if she isn't aware of something in my life and someone outside of her family is, then that looks bad on her.
Okay. So that's her perspective.
Yes.
And so you were inside of that when you decided to call her. Okay. Do you feel like you would do that again the next time, or what would you do next time?
No,
So
no,
you don't believe all that about her perspective, that you're just saying what it was, right?
right. Like I've written 5 books. I haven't told her. She didn't even know that I wrote 5 books. She's not, I don't tell her or keep her on track with what I create in my life. We talk maybe 3 or 4 times a year, like holidays and birthdays. That's about it.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know, but that was kind of a big piece that I thought, if somebody messaged her or phoned her and said, "Oh, Jillian has a new book," she would just be like, "Okay." But if somebody phoned her and said, "Jillian is now saying that she can heal cancer," that would have been, because she's a nurse. So that's her kind of realm of reality.
I mean, you didn't say it, obviously, you didn't say that. But right, someone else said it about you.
Right.
But okay, I mean, there's a whole leadership thing here about like taking the frame back and, all those things, but we've run out of time. And so I feel like we've gotten really far. What did you get? Like, what was your experience? What's like the main thing that you think you got?
The realization that I get to trust what's coming up in my body and in my life, and I get to follow it and honor that as truth.
Beautiful.
And that I have, a great support system available and friendships that I can turn to. And I appreciate that so, so much.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, and
Can I
I'll
offer
introduce.
one more thing real quick? I'm sorry. I don't. Jillian, I am being called to share with you. Maybe sit down at some point if you feel called to, and write down everything that you wish you had heard your mom or your dad or whoever say to you as a child. Because for me, right, what came up, and I don't want to project my me, but what came up when John was asking those questions was running into the kitchen as a kid going, "Mommy, look what I did." And hoping for her to say, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that? That's amazing." And so that's just, I think, going back to what Marie said, if you can tap in to those energies, but also list the things so I needed to hear these things as a child and I didn't hear them, but I can reparent myself now and take it from that perspective. It can be a really powerful healing moment. And I'm going to mute because my kids won't be quiet.
Thank you. That's powerful. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Do you feel like this is complete, or just like a really good step?
It's a really good step.
That's how I feel.
Yep.
That's how I feel too. Yeah, I would ask. Like, I'm thinking about my dad, right? And so I'm thinking like, what role did I want him to play that I now have to just play for myself, right? And I would just ask you the same thing of like, what was the role that you wanted your mom to play, or whoever, this person? And now it looks like you're gonna have, I would suggest, play that role for yourself. Like, how can you do that for yourself? Is it the nurturer? Is it the validator? Is it the authority? Is it the whoever it is? Can you play that for yourself? Because like sometimes we outsource a part of ourselves and we try to get someone else to do it. And sometimes we just got to take that power back and just do it ourselves. And so anyway, again, I keep coming up with these things because I'm like, we haven't quite finished. Like I never like to end one of these calls until it's done. So anyway, I feel good now. I feel like that was the last thing for me.
Can I just say something like very funny? Because
Just don't maybe think of anything else though. If you
no,
do.
it's nothing to do with her, but it really is very funny. I have to go like pick up a bike that I like. This is for a low ticket, high impact client. So it's just to make the point, don't have those. So I have to like, I rode in it was like nice weather, and then it was like absolutely pouring on the way home from where I was exercising, where she was exercising, and she had to drive me home. But anyway, it's a funny story. So right now I have to go. I know it sounds like an ADHD thing, but anyway, now I have to go like pick up the bike. So anyway, it's kind of funny.
I have no idea what you just said, but it sounded great. Cool.
Okay, thank you. Really? And you don't want an explanation? Okay, never mind. I didn't explain it very well. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, no
All right.
problem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Jillian, Brittany, Kenny, and Marie, and everyone else who was here but left. Anything, any other last words, Jillian?
No, just a huge thank you. This was really great. And I appreciate all of you for your love and your kindness and your open heart and your ability to hold space. And I appreciate you more than I could ever put into words. I really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Sometimes I like to end with a little prayer, and I'll just say it now. Is the way I would do it is like, may everyone in the universe experience good fortune as great as our own. May everyone in the universe experience good fortune greater than our own. And that's it. All right. Well, thank you. Look forward to keeping in touch with everybody, and have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.